Giving you 5 choices. I want you to rank who you think is going to be in the conversation. Start with your number 3 choice.
Yeah, it took me a second with the offensive rows. I'm like, what is she talking about? So we're going to go 6 quarterbacks drafted in the first round, 3 starting opening day. I'm going to stay heavy quarterbacks and go number 3. I'm going to do Bo Nix. I'm really intrigued by both Bo Nix and you're getting a good player for what was already a very good offense.
Yeah.
You're getting a good player that's going to have a ton of favorable matchups when it comes to work in the middle of the field or in man coverage. This is a plus for Philadelphia.
You mentioned it. This was a receiving core last year that ranked top 10 already in catches, yards, and touchdowns, and seemingly just AR already getting all the adoration on the fantasy side. And certainly you can see last year what he was able to do in a limited amount of time. 4 starts, 4 touchdowns with his arm, 4 touchdowns with his legs, 3 more with his arm. That's not a wrap for you, Dan, because you're coming back.
Well, Stefania, let's start here. What exactly is a meniscus, and why is the timeline potentially so different?
To understand the injury, Lori, you always need to. And the problem is they don't have a great blood supply, so they won't typically heal themselves. So when you have a tear, they go larger that requires a full repair. And because the blood supply is not ideal, in order to decide about a repair, you have to see where it is and does it have the potential.
Question for you, Stefania. The situation, I think, bears the question of why would they even just repair it? Because this isn't a
flap that's on the perimeter that doesn't need to be repaired.
The situation doesn't then
The situation
impact that
doesn't
choice.
warrant it, so then you would just do what they commonly refer to as a cleanup, and then he's back fairly quickly.
Dan, how detrimental is the missed time for a rookie QB, especially how we saw him look in his first action for the Vikings?
Yeah, so I've been one of those people going into this situation. We don't need to rush. J.J. McCarthy has to go through the long haul of this.
We hear about meniscus tears, variety of different ones, right, for so many athletes. What is the prospect when it comes to potentially re-injuring that? Is it something that usually is fixed when they go in there for the first time?
This is where all the nuance of this stuff comes in, because you're born with a meniscus that is shaped a certain way and it's fixed. Cartilage doesn't grow back. It should be like when he's back, he should be fully back, fine. No residual effects for him whatsoever. It's just the key of making the right decisions early and then giving him the time he needs to get better.
The situation is never great when we're talking about an injury to a quarterback, especially a rookie who there's so much excitement around. But if you think about situations that maybe bode the best for a player to go through this, the Vikings might have that. We'll keep an eye on it and find out exactly the timeline here soon. Marcus, what does he need to do to get the most out of this Vikings offense?
I think
experience, Emily Kaplan. 61 starts for Bo Nix. Feels like he was in college as long as Kevin Clark is sitting here today for Around the Horn. How do you see this situation panning out for the Denver Broncos?